Hey, Brad, what's that?
What's what?
That thing right in front of you, man.
Oh. You mean the script that's telling me to remind our listeners to subscribe to Geeklirious on iTunes or any platform of their choice?
Yeah, but wasn't there more?
Alright, let me take a look. Oh, hey, there's a part where I tell the listeners to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter using our handle @Geeklirious.
Yeah, that's the best line I ever wrote.
Oh, crap. I deleted it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 30 of Geeklirious. My name is Brian Cambriello. His name is Mike Tessmacher.
Hello.
And we are going to be talking Solo, a Star Wars story.
A solo story.
A Solo story. It is a solo movie about Solo.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts about it because you being the Star Wars fan.
Yes.
Tell me, where do I begin? Well, first, let's get your general consensus of the movie out of the way.
Yes. Generally speaking, without any spoilers, I will spoil the movie a little bit later, but I will give a brief consensus so you guys can know what I think, and then you can go watch it and come back here and listen to what I thought of the rest. But so I really enjoyed this movie.
Wow.
I liked it better than The Last Jedi. I liked it better than Rogue One.
Okay. Force Awakens?
No, not as good as Force Awakens. It's in my top 5 of Star Wars movies. It's probably my number 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, you know what? That's actually not too bad.
No. If I had to break it down, Empire number 1, New Hope number 2, number 3, Force Awakens, number 4, Return of the Jedi, number 5 would be Solo.
Where's the Phantom Menace?
That's all the way down at number 10. That's the last one on the list.
That's my number 1, by the way.
I think that the movie really did a great job of capturing the Star Wars feel. Yeah. When I was watching it, I really felt like I was watching an original trilogy film. Yeah. It had that vibe. I got that same vibe with Rogue One, but this was to a greater extent.
Okay.
I really got lost in the characters. There's a lot of famous actors in this movie.
Okay.
Woody Harrelson.
I'll break. So Woody Harrelson.
Yes, he plays Beckett.
Play?
He plays Beckett.
A good guy, bad guy.
A little bit of both. He's a scoundrel. He's a pirate.
Like Han?
Yes.
Okay, so you got him. So you liked him.
Yeah, his character was great.
Woody Harrelson's great and everything, right?
Yeah, he was fantastic in this movie.
Yeah. Okay, so Donald Glover
as Lando
Calrissian himself.
He did such a fantastic job.
Really?
Yeah, he was the standout for me in the movie. His performance really echoed Billy D. Williams.
Really?
Yeah, you can tell he really researched the character, and he's a fan of the original series. You can really tell from his performance.
Yeah.
Little mannerisms and stuff really reminded me of it.
Huh. Yeah, because from seeing the trailer, he looks like Lando.
He does.
Yeah, even though I was super wary of him coming on board when they first announced, just like all of this movie, I was super, cautious.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that worked out.
And another thing,
how much is he in the movie?
That's literally what I was just going to talk about. I didn't think he was going to be in the movie for as long as he was. Yeah,
because we were saying he'll maybe a few scenes.
He was in probably a good half of the movie.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. You meet him about halfway through the movie, and he pretty much sticks around through the rest of it.
Some good action.
Yeah,
stuff
great action scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, he holds up as a action type guy?
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really get to see Lando in action in this movie.
Yeah.
In the thick of it, as they say.
Okay. So who else we got besides Han?
Emilia Clarke plays
Emilia Clarke,
Kira.
Daenerys herself.
Yes. She was very, very good. That's one thing I can really say.
Who did she play?
Her name was Kira. It was Han's love interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
His first love interest.
Yeah. She's with him at the beginning of the movie, and she goes away for a little bit and comes back later. And I would say she might have been the weakest of them. Like, not that she was bad by any means, but her character, it didn't stick out to me as wow, that's a really cool character, or they did a really good job with her development. They really let her play a backseat role in this film.
Okay.
But
as they should, because it's called Solo, not Kira. Story. No, the focus of the movie was definitely Han Solo, and everybody else was supporting characters. But that's one thing I do want to say before we get into it any further, is that even though this movie had a ton of stars, I didn't see Donald Glover or Childish Gambino. I saw Lando Calrissian. I didn't see Woody Harrelson. I didn't think of him in any of his other movies or TV shows. I saw him as Beckett. And I didn't see Daenerys. I saw Kira. Was she blonde in the movie?
No, she was a brunette.
Okay.
She looked very similar to the way she did in Terminator.
Ugh. Terminator.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe that's why I didn't like her as much.
Emilia Clarke is great.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. She's really a great actress. I just, her character didn't stick out to me as much as the others.
It's been a problem with the Game of Thrones people, when you see them, Kit Harington, Jon Snow, he's just in crappy movies. I really hate that, they're good actors and you just put them in this crap.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Han Solo, tell me about the man. Without spoiling, because we're not yet on spoilers.
Yeah, so in the original trailers, for this movie, they showed some scenes of, his name is Alden Ehrenreich. I think I got that right.
That's actually pretty good. I would have did way worse, so I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, in the few speaking lines he had in the trailer, I didn't pick up on Han Solo vibes, and he was really worrying me. And I was like, I hope he pulls it off.
I was hoping they were hopefully maybe saving his more Han Solo-y moments.
Yeah.
For the actual movie.
Yeah, and when I tell you he knocked it out of the park, he knocked it out of the park.
How does Ralph Garman from Hollywood Babylon the freaking Harrison Ford impression?
Yeah, that's great.
Han Solo.
He did so good. Even Harrison Ford himself praised his work in the movie. And I keep wanting to call him Han Solo. Harrison Ford, he is a bit of an old curmudgeon, he's not exactly the most happiest of men.
He's such a weird guy.
He really is. But he praised Alden's performance, and he said he gave the character his own spin, and he went out of his way to say nice things about it. So coming
has to.
Yeah, no, not necessarily. I mean, freaking Mark Hamill trashed The Last Jedi after it came out, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you don't have to say nice things.
Yeah, especially since
he's not even in the movie.
A spoiler alert: his character's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
he really has. He doesn't have to pull any punches. He could just say whatever he wants. He ain't coming back. Maybe as a Force ghost, if anything, but probably not even that. Or maybe a flashback of some sort. But
yeah, maybe. So you really liked Han Solo?
Yeah, I would give it, if I had to rate it out of 10, a solid 7.5 to an 8.
Okay.
Very, very high marks.
It's surprising.
I really liked, we didn't even talk about Chewbacca that much, and
Chewie, yeah.
He was, obviously Chewbacca is not really.
Did he go?
He did a lot of that, yeah. I mean, I really can't say, oh, he's a great actor, because, he doesn't really talk, I mean, other than his growls and whatnot. But, the relationship, I think, between Han and Chewie, really develops in this movie, and it's sweet, and it pulls at your heartstrings a little bit, and it really gives you those emotional throwback feels, you know.
So okay, so you like the movie?
Yes.
Let's talk about some spoilers.
Yes.
So how how does it start? Like, fill me in. Like, does it start in like the middle of the Kessel Run or something? Like,
no, it starts early on in Han Solo's life.
Like as a kid or something?
I mean, not as a kid, but he's essentially he's a slave. He's working
for Jabba.
No, not for Jabba. For I forget I forget the name of the organization, but pretty much him and Kira, Emilia Clarke, are indebted to this like mob boss type character, and they're working for him. And Han and Kira have dreams of getting off of this area,
making those credits and balling hard on Tatooine,
right? So,
or in Hoth, because that's a great planet to go to.
It's ice cold. So him and Kira essentially they steal a vial of what's called coaxium, which is pretty much hyperspace juice. It's what they use for going hyperdrive.
Oh.
Yeah. Or light speed, hyperspeed, whatever you want to call it.
So it's expensive.
Yeah, it's the MacGuffin, you know, in Avatar was the unobtainium type of thing. It's pretty much what this entire
it's the vibranium.
Yeah, exactly. It's the thing that everyone's after in this movie.
Okay.
Because it's very valuable resource. And
gotta warp.
What's that?
When you gotta warp, you gotta warp.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. So when they want to go light speed or whatever, that's what they use.
Who doesn't want to?
So they steal a vial of this, and they pretty much they steal a vehicle, and there's a really cool chase scene. You get to see some of Han Solo's like pre-piloting skills on a speeder.
So even at that point, he's been doing like criminal stuff.
Yeah, he's definitely a criminal. So he escapes with Kira, and they're about to go through. They make a deal with the guard at the gate. They bribe her with the coaxium to get through, and I forget exactly what happened, but Han gets through and Kira doesn't, and the security gate shuts, and they get separated. And
of course,
essentially, Han before before he leaves had given Kira his lucky dice.
Oh yeah.
And so these dice are kind of they're the Indiana Jones cap. You know, he always gets the dice.
Yeah.
When they're escaping from his old life, he makes sure to grab the dice.
Cartwheel and grab the grab the dice real quick.
You can tell it's important to him. So pretty much.
Do they explain where the dice are from? Or anything?
I think not really where they're from, just that they're like a lucky charm for him.
Oh, okay.
And so he essentially, right after that, he goes to the Imperials and he signs up as a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's a pilot for the Imperials, he gets kicked out, and he pretty much gets grunt duty.
Did they ever talk about him being an Imperial before?
I don't remember.
Because as far as I know, no. I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. So he was
like Finn.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, very similar to Finn. So Han, he becomes a pilot, gets kicked out of the Navy or whatever it is, the Air Force.
Because he was a crappy pilot.
Not because he was crappy. I think he said something along the lines of, because they didn't want me to speak my own mind. So he had, like, subordination issues.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Excuse me.
Stormtroopers don't have voices.
So, essentially, he goes, he meets up with Woody Harrelson's group, who have infiltrated the Imperial lines, for some reason or another,
for the warp
juice? To pull off a job of some sort. Maybe
so for the warp
maybe
juice.
The warp juice. Maybe they're stealing weapons. I forget. It's not really important. But Woody Harrelson's group kind of they betray him, and they're like, and
of course,
because Han Solo, he tries to join up with them. He's like, hey, listen, I'm a good pilot. And they're like, oh, we already have a pilot. And he's like, well, if you don't take me with you, I think, the captain over there will, like to know that you guys are not really guards. And then pretty much Han Solo, Woody Harrelson's character, Beckett, he double crosses Solo and pretty much tells the guard first that he's like trying to betray and stuff like that. So he gets thrown into a pit with a monster.
Is it a Sarlacc pit?
No, it's not a Sarlacc pit. And so you see like this dirty, muddy creature kind of coming in, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, is that a Wampa? And then like 2 seconds later, I'm like, oh no, it's Chewbacca. So they're using Chewbacca essentially as a deterrent, of sorts. You need to feed him or whatever.
Yeah.
So Chewbacca and Han are kind of going at it. They're fighting a little bit, but Chewbacca's obviously just throwing him around like a rag doll. And then out of nowhere, Han busts out, starts speaking Wookiee. He's like, and this is the first line in the movie that really reminded me a lot of like Harrison Ford's Han Solo. And he says to Chewbacca looks surprised when Han is like, speaking the language, and he turns towards Chewie. He's like, "Yeah, I speak a little," and just like the way he said it sounded very much like the way Harrison Ford like portrays the lines. Sorry about that.
Oh, that Wookiee voice.
Yeah, gotcha. No, my cough is killing me. But yeah, so he links up with Chewie, and long story short, he hooks up Chewie with Woody Harrelson's crew, with Beckett's crew.
Even though he got backstabbed or
he knows this is his only way out of here. Okay. So one of the guys who's played by I forget his name, but he's played by Jon Favreau.
Okay.
He's like a multi-armed alien creature who is posing as an Imperial guard, and he's like, oh, we should get a Wookiee. Wookiees are, they're useful. They're muscle.
They're badass.
And so they take the Wookiee along with Han, and they kind of like join the crew and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much like how the movie starts. That's how he gets into his life of crime.
Okay, yeah, I'm digging that. I thought it was going to start out like he was like maybe like he was a good guy, like he wasn't like into any of that, and like Amelia Clark character or Beckett like gets him into that sort of life.
Right.
But
so
I guess not.
In Beckett's crew, there's a couple members. There's I forget her name, but there's a black woman who's Beckett's love interest. You look confused.
Who is it?
I'll look up the actress's name. She's been in stuff. I've recognized her before. There's also, like I said, the guy played by Jon Favreau, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. Oh, there's Han and Chewie. That might be it. That might just be the three of them. But
three amigos.
Yeah, three amigos.
Three space amigos.
Yeah,
I kind of want to see this movie now.
Taddy Newton.
I've seen her before.
She's been in stuff before.
Yeah.
She was in Mission Impossible. She was in Crash. I think Crash is where I know her from. She's very...
Which Mission Impossible?
Oh, geez, now you're making me go back. 2.
2?
Yeah.
That was the worst one.
But anyway, yeah, it's pretty much, yeah. So, the guy's name, by the way, her name is Val, and Jon Favreau's character is Rio Durant, and he's kind of like a wisecrack. He's like the comic relief.
Who comes up with these names that they call these characters? Oh, we're just going to call him Rio Durant.
I don't know. He looks like a little monkey type character, but he's like their pilot, and he's really good.
Oh yeah, I see. Who plays him?
Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, yeah.
Oh wow, yo, I didn't know that was him.
Yeah, no, he's really good.
That's cool. Because I saw him in the trailer. That guy, but yeah, I didn't know that was Jon Favreau.
So, essentially, they go and they pull off a job. Before they do this, however, they're like sitting by a campfire, and Beckett's making it has a gun, and he's like taking apart the gun. He remodels it, and it turns it into Han Solo's classic pistol. And he throws it to Han, and he goes, you're going to need this kid or whatever. So it's cool that he got the pistol from like a mentor type figure.
Yeah,
I like that. His laser blaster. What's that line? He's like, magic tricks, and fairy tales ain't no match for a good blaster by your side, or whatever he says.
Yeah.
It's classic. It's the same gun he shot Greedo with, and
just legendary pistol.
Oh, actually, I should go back a little bit. When he joined the Imperial forces, there's a really cheesy scene, and this is like one of the scenes I don't like about this film.
Okay.
It's really cheesy, and like it feels very thrown in there. But the Imperials, the officer, he's like, "Oh, what's your name?" He's like, "Han." He's like, "Han what?" He's like, "Just Han." And he's like, "Well, we have to give you a last name." He's like, "You have no family?" He's like, "Nope, just me." He's like, "Well, you're Han Solo." And I'm like, nah, that doesn't work for me. No. I don't know. It just felt very, very. Why did it wasn't needed to give the origin of his name? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that ain't too bad.
It's not the worst they could have done, but it's also not the best.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about that because it's kind of cool, but then also, like you said, kind of corny. It's like
super cheesy.
I thought it was just like a cool alien, like Rio Durant, but no, it's just Han, and then it's just because he's Solo.
Yeah, he's by himself. It's almost like a John Doe,
So, like, if he was with Chewie, he would have been like, "You're a Han couple."
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but I guess that's just like the designation they give to people who don't have family or whatever.
Yeah, that's.
Anyway, that's just a little thing.
Yeah.
And then
Disney's
and then there's one other corny thing I didn't like, and that's actually coming up right now. So pretty much Han and Chewie are on the ship, and they're like, "Oh," and he's like, "Oh, you know what? I never even asked your name. What's your name?" He's like, he's like Chewbacca. Nah, I gotta shorten that. That's too long. Can't be calling you that every time. So that's where he gets Chewie from.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It wasn't as bad as the Solo thing, but still...
It's kind of like, do you need to say that? It's like, why not, just say Chewie, like, why does it have to be like, that's too long, I gotta call you something short.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need to be said. We know it's a long name, and Chewie's better. So
yeah.
Why would you have to put that in there? That's weird.
It seemed a bit forced and cheesy. But yeah, really those are my only two little nitpicks with the movie. So they go to pull off this job. Essentially, Beckett's crew, including now Chewie and Han, they're going to steal...
Beckett's crew plus...
They're doing a train heist, and I love train heists in movies.
Like an actual train?
Yeah, it's like a rail train, a hover train or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a space train.
Why do they have trains for like?
It's for transporting It's for transporting cargo.
Yeah, but they have spaceships. Why do they?
It's a military base.
What? Okay. Yeah, I won't argue that.
Anyway,
it's space.
Yeah, they're transporting some coaxium or whatever. So they're trying to steal the coaxium, and it's working together really well, but there's some mishaps along the way, and then we get introduced to the main foil, or one of the main foils of the main characters. There's a group of pirates that are
other
pirates, pretty much another crew.
Yeah.
That are out to steal the same booty, the treasure, that warp juice, and. Obviously they messed it up. In the fray, we actually lose Rio Durant. He gets boarded and he gets shot.
Aww.
And Han has to fill in for him, and he becomes a new pilot for their crew.
Of course,
which is how that happens.
Yeah.
And then we lose Val in the same scene as well. She has to blow up the bridge with her still on it in order for the train to come across. So we lose both of them in one shot. I really hate
that as a plot device. Like,
yeah,
the person has to stay behind.
So unfortunately, there's a scene where their two ships are kind of hovering with cables holding the coaxium in between, and Han doesn't want to let it go, but then the other people don't want to let it go, and it's kind of a stalemate, and Beckett's like screaming at him, like, don't you dare let that go, don't you dare, and he's like, I gotta let it go, he's like, we're gonna crash, he's like, no, they're gonna give up, anyway, so Han lets it go, and the coaxium crashes into the mountain, and it creates one of the most badass, like, explosion sequences, because it's super volatile, because it's hyperdrive.
I was going to ask that. I'm like, if someone shoots that, is it like a red barrel in a video game? Oh, does it just...
like a red barrel times 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff like, blows up the side of a mountain.
Oh,
like
nice.
Legitimately, like a Mount Everest looking like mofo type mountain.
Yeah,
it blows it up.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
from like a small thing, or is it like?
It's a very large amount of it.
Oh, okay.
There's quite a bit in there. So. They get back, and Beckett like punches Han in the face because it's like, you shouldn't have let it go, and he's mad because A, he lost his girlfriend, B, he lost his pilot, C, the guy he's working for, and we'll get to him in a second, is going to be pissed. So
the guy that Beckett's working.
The guy that Beckett was hired to do the job.
Yeah.
He is played by Paul Bettany, who you may know as Vision. Yes,
okay.
And he plays a character by the name of Dryden Voss.
Mm-hmm.
And Dryden Voss is a very, very cool villain.
Yeah.
Very sinister, cool, calm, collected mob boss, but willing to get the dirty work done. Very similar to Gus from Breaking Bad.
Mm.
If you can kind of get that vibe off him.
Yeah, like
the calm, all business until
yeah.
someone pisses him off, and then he's all business,
Yeah.
And then he's pretty savage.
Yeah.
So
cold, calculated.
Very cool character. And so Han, pretty much Beckett's like, listen, if you come, like they don't know you. If you come with me to, you're in this for good.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm coming with you. This is partially my fault. So Beckett, Solo, and Chewie go to. Dryden Voss's palace. It's a ship. It's like a big alien ship. But it's like a think of like a flying skyscraper with a curve in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Picture like the flying Empire State Building, but curved slightly, and like almost like a bow and arrow type thing, but not as drastic. And he's got this beautiful, ritzy caviar, tuxedo type get-together thing.
Yeah,
and
nice
Beckett's
fancy,
Beckett's pretty much just like, oh hey, don't touch anything, I'm gonna go mingle and try to find Voss, whatever. And of course Han Solo, trying to not find anybody, of course runs into his old love interest, Kira, who is now working for Voss.
Okay, yeah.
He bought her off, he pretty much saved her from that area, but now she kind of owes herself to him now.
Yeah.
And she becomes like one of his like top like generals,
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a lot. So pretty much
we don't have to go beat by beat, but
yeah, I'm just giving an overall thing. So essentially Voss is pissed, he's ready to kill them, but like in a very subtle way.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, it's like, if you don't have any better ideas, I'm gonna have to kill you. And they're like, well, no. And then Han in his Han way is just very like off the fly, off the seat of his pants. And Kira tries to help out a little bit. And essentially, they're going to steal unrefined coaxium, which is extremely volatile and needs to be cooled at a cooling station in order to keep it from exploding. And essentially, that's where the Kessel Run comes into play. Mm-hmm. So in order to pull off this job, they need a fast chip. Where do they get the fast chip? Lando Calrissian. So Kira is an old contact of Lando, and this is where they meet him. Essentially, Han Solo, you meet Donald Glover for the first time. Lando Calrissian, he is cool, calm, collected. He's got the whole room in the palm of his hand. He's the life of the party type of guy. Very suave, a ladies' man.
Yeah.
You know, just... Well, I guess Lando. He's Lando. And Han challenges him to a game of Sabacc, which is the card game that, from Star Wars lore, that you know that he wins the game, that he wins the Millennium Falcon from.
Yep.
This does not happen. Lando cheats and wins the poker game.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course.
I shouldn't say. Sabacc is essentially space poker, which you can actually buy at Target. I just found that out today. You can buy a version of Sabacc,
and it's like it actually plays.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. I kind of want to get it.
You should.
I should.
Maybe we can play it here.
That'd be a lot of fun. So, Lando knows Qi'ra. They have a relationship. They work out a deal that Lando will get a certain amount of the take from allowing them to use their ship.
Okay.
And then we're introduced to L337. But they call her L3 for short. She is Lando's droid. A lot of people I heard reviewing this movie said that, I think Jeremy John said it, who didn't give it that great of a review. He essentially said that he felt like L3 was trying too hard to be K2SO from Rogue One, the sassy droid, played by Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
And I didn't find that at all. L3, I think, was probably one of the better characters in the whole movie.
Oh, wow.
Very, very cool robot. Maybe, may I say, my favorite in the Star Wars universe so far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, okay. I really liked her personality. She was almost like a woman's rights type of thing, but for droids. And she has like a lot of really great comedy scenes where she's like freeing the droids later on. She was like, "Be free!" And, you know, it's very humorous.
Okay.
Very, very cool character. So, Han, Chewie, Qi'ra, who was appointed by Dross to go with them, Lando, L3, and of course the Millennium Falcon, which is looking better than it's ever looked. Because, you know, it's in pristine condition. And, as you might have noticed in some of the concept art, has the standard Millennium Falcon from the original movies has a piece like missing from the front. There's like an opening in between the two, like the head of the ship. There's an opening in between it that's filled in this, and you realize later on.
Oh, that's how.
Yes. About how. So I'll get to that eventually, but. So yeah, they go through. They go to I guess Kessel or whatever the name of the planet is to get the coaxium.
Okay.
They have a really awesome, great scene where they use some very similar to the scene from A New Hope where they disguise themselves to break in. They break in, they steal the coaxium. You know. Shit goes awry, and of course, in the midst of it, we lose L3, which really sucks. She bites the dust, but not after leading a droid revolution, and it's freaking fantastic. One of the better scenes in the movie.
Okay. What else?
So, yeah, they pretty much escape from there, and then they do the Kessel Run.
Okay.
So, this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Because, as you know, one of the biggest inconsistencies in Star Wars is the fact that Han Solo declares in A New Hope that this is the ship that made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
Yeah.
A parsec is a unit of distance, and in the movie it sounds like he uses it as a measurement of time. So it's incorrect. However, this movie shows how it actually is correct. So what they do is, the Kessel Run is essentially a portal through this like junkyard, this like the space asteroid junk field, and you have to stay along this certain path in order to get through it.
Okay.
However, Han is being chased by, some people from the planet he just ripped off.
Yeah.
And he uses a bit of the hyperspace juice, and with a little help from L3's memory bank, they get through the Kessel Run, going through the side of it, through the junk field. And they're able to navigate it, and therefore, they make the Kessel Run in a shorter distance than it would normally be, because they didn't go the straight way, they cut through it. So that's where,
How did they cut through it?
They used a little bit of space juice. They poured it into the engine to hyper jump the light speed through it. And in addition to that, they had L3's memory bank, which had kind of like a map of the area stored on it. So, which is cool, because L3 is now a part of Star Wars canon, is now a part of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, essentially, they go through holy hell. They land back on... They go to this refining planet or area where they're getting the coaxium refined so it doesn't explode.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Very, very cool scene.
Yeah. Sounds really interesting, man.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm going to try to speed up a little bit because we're running long. Essentially, while they're refining it, the space pirates come back. You find out that, they're not actually space pirates, they're actually the beginning of the Rebel Alliance, and they want to take down, Voss.
Yeah.
So, essentially, Han is like, we gotta help them, Beckett's, Voss is bad news. Beckett's like, alright, I'll help you out, yada yada yada. They try to make they make a switch. They give the coaxium to the rebels, and they try to switch it off with Voss. Voss sees right through this plan because Beckett sells them out. Yeah. So
damn you, Beckett.
So pretty much, but Han saw through that, and he actually did a double swipe where he actually did bring the coaxium.
Okay.
So this results pretty much in Beckett cutting a deal. He takes Chewbacca, and they go off with the coaxium, and then it's left with Han, Kira, and Voss. Mm-hmm. They have a great fight scene where it looks like Kira betrays Han, but then actually betrays Voss and kills him.
But she dies.
Kira?
Yeah.
No, she does not die. So.
I thought I knew everything.
You thought so. And this is where the biggest freaking twist of the movie happens.
Twist.
Dude, oh my god. So many twists within 5 seconds. It's crazy. So,
is M. Night Shyamalan the cameo?
I wish. That would be fucking amazing. But no. So, Kira and Han kiss, and she was like, listen, go get Chewie. I'll be right behind you. I just gotta, I gotta finish up some stuff around here. He's like, alright, cool. So, he leaves to go get Chewie and meet up with Beckett.
And she's the real enemy.
And during this time, it was referenced before that everybody works for somebody. Beckett works for Voss, and Voss even works for somebody. And when they said that, I figured
Palpatine.
I figured maybe Palpatine, maybe Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, the Hutts, obviously.
Somebody bigger.
Were there no Hutts in this movie?
They reference it.
Okay.
That's actually
kind of a missed opportunity, right? Everyone loves Jabba.
I think if they make more, they're definitely going to be in it, because
they were making more.
Yeah, there's a scene where Beckett essentially says, "Hey, when he's leaving, he's like, oh, I heard that on Tatooine there's a big time gangster, setting up a little thing, a little unit."
Little squad.
Exactly. So that, and then Han references it again at the end of the movie. That's where he's going. He's going to Tatooine.
Organized crime.
Yeah, a little syndicate. Pretty much she takes the ring off Dryden's finger, on Voss's finger. She plugs it into this console, and it pretty much locks down the control room.
Yeah.
And she hits a button or whatever, and a hologram of like a hooded figure appears on the screen. And she's
George
like,
Lucas.
No, and she's like, oh, I regret to inform you that Dryden Voss is dead. He was killed by Beckett, who betrayed him, pretty much a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hooded figure takes off his mask.
I am the Senate.
Nope. You know who it is?
I'm trying to think of Star Wars characters. Jar Jar. No?
You know who it is? It's Darth Maul.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, like the guy, he came back for it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ray Park as Darth Maul.
Huh. But didn't he die in Phantom Menace?
Yes, and he had robot legs in the hologram.
Oh man!
Yep.
You're blowing my mind.
Told you it was good.
Okay.
So, pretty much, he's like, it's like, come to me. It's like, me and you are going to be working a lot closer. And then the hologram ends, and she steals the ship and goes to meet him. During this time, Han is going to meet up with Beckett and to save Chewie.
And kill Beckett, of course.
And to kill Beckett. And of course, Han and Beckett are having a standoff, and, pretty much, Beckett's just talking, villain stuff.
Of course.
And just really abruptly in the middle of him talking, Han just kills him. Han shot first!
I like it.
Han shoots first.
Of course.
There you go.
Anyone that says he never shot first is out of their mind, first of all.
Yeah.
Because he did. That's him.
So,
good on him. Thank you.
So pretty much, the rebels meet up with Han, and they're like, hey, you should join us. And Han's like, you know what,
I'd rather join the money squad.
Pretty much. And
the money team
he says, he's like, I appreciate it, but, that's not my life. That's not me. So I'm heading to Tatooine. I've heard about a big time gangster starting up a syndicate down there. So that leads into, Jabba the Hutt.
Ooh, okay.
So if they do make more, obviously Jabba the Hutt and Darth Maul are going to be some big time players in this movie, which I'm excited for.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how it ends.
You have me salivating.
Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job in 41 minutes. So yeah, after I'm sorry, I missed one last scene. So obviously, during all of this, I forgot to mention, when the pirates first, show up at the refinery, Han points to the Millennium Falcon, which Lando's on, and he's like, you see that ship right there? At the snap of my fingers, you're gonna be all surrounded. There's 100 men on that ship. Armed men, or whatever he says. And then, in typical Lando fashion, he just takes off and leaves them.
Of course.
So, at the end of the movie,
yeah,
he's got some payback. So Han goes back to Lando's place, and he meets up with them, and they have a really forced interaction where they're like, "Oh, it's like, hey, how you doing? You didn't think I'd actually leave you there?" That type of thing. And Han looks really pissed off at him, and then out of nowhere he pulls him close, he hugs him. He's like, "No, I wasn't actually mad at you, man." He's like, "Look what I got for you, though," and he
shot him.
he pulls out a vial of coaxium. He's like, "Is this enough for a buy-in?" He's like, "You want to play?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to play. I want that chip." So he puts the vial down on the chips, and they play. And they're playing, and at the end of it, Lando, he's got this little mechanism, very similar, it's like Assassin's Creed style, on his wrist that pops out a winning card. Okay. It would essentially be
I've seen those. They're
it's like a little metal, trap.
Just like a little card ejector.
Yeah, it's like an ejector that pretty much allows you to kind of shoot it into your hand, without anyone noticing.
Spiderweb.
And he goes to use it, and it's like a clicking, like an empty sound.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks down, he looks worried. And Han was like, "What's the matter? You missing something?" And he's like, No. And then he plays a decent hand. He's like, oh, it would be like the equivalent of like 3 of a kind or something in poker, And then Han, of course, who had stolen the ace puts down, the royal flush or whatever. I don't know poker, but what's the best hand in poker? It's like a... I thought it was like a royal flush or something like that.
Straight flush?
Something like that. Hey, Alyssa.
A royal straight flush?
You know poker. What's the best hand you can get in poker?
Royal flush.
Is it a royal flush?
What about a royal straight flush?
Oh, it's a full house. That's what I was thinking of.
Full house?
Isn't it full house?
Royal flush.
Royal flush, is it? Okay.
That's what you're thinking of. It's a straight, but a royal flush is a straight where all the cards are consecutive, but it's all the same suit.
Then what's a full house?
Full house is a pair and 3 of a kind.
So Bob Saget's not any, no relation?
No.
No. Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paper boy.
Cool, yeah? What are you doing here?
Evening TV. Oh, yeah. So essentially...
Cut it out.
Thank you, Alyssa. See,
yes.
I think she wears the pants in this relationship because I don't know poker and she does.
Yeah.
Mainly
because you don't wear pants.
I'm wearing shorts.
Life hack.
So yeah, he. Long story short, he wins the Millennium Falcon.
Because Han shoots first.
Yeah.
And that's why he always wins.
So yeah, that is Solo: A Star Wars Story.
And that is Geeklirious.
Yeah, that's Geeklirious episode 30.
Do we have anything else you want to run down our social?
I did forget one thing. I mentioned the tip of the Millennium Falcon missing or being there. It was an escape pod. They used it to escape. Not actually, they used it as like a projectile essentially to help them escape. So they did use it for escape purposes, but it wasn't the way it was designed.
It's not traditional.
Yeah. So that's why it has the thing. Anyway, but yeah. So anyway, Han Solo, Solo: A Star Wars Story, one of my favorite Star Wars movies of all time. The second
I'm gonna have to see it now.
The second I got out of the theater, I wanted to watch it again. I really enjoyed it.
Next time, me and you will go.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, so that is Geeklirious episode 30.
Yes. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We have a Facebook page.
Yes.
We have a YouTube page. Check that out. And Geeklirious@gmail.com if you have any comments, questions, just to say what's up.
Yeah.
Slide in those Gmails.
Did you say anything about the iTunes yet?
I was getting there.
You getting there?
I was getting there.
Just wanted to make sure I didn't skip over that.
Yeah. Like I say every episode, give us that 5 stars on iTunes.
5-star. Frog Splash.
5 stars. Exactly. Frog Splash that like button on iTunes and subscribe. Everywhere. We're everywhere.
Yes.
Get to know us. Get to love us. Like we love you.
So much. Alright.
And Han Solo. We love that.
Thank you guys so much for...
It's a Geeklirious story.
Alright. See you later, guys.
Bye.